Welcome back to It Takes a Universe. I'm Ashley, and today we are going over all the union tiers. Non-union, SAG Eligible, SAG Must Join, SAG, FICOR, and Rejoining SAG. And of course, we will touch on Taft Hartley. Now, a lot of people ask me, what tier is the best? What tier should I be in? And that answer varies because it is dependent on what your current goals are and what your long-term goals are. So we'll cover all of that in this video. That being said, let's get into it. Non-union is exactly what it sounds like. There's no union protecting you. Non-union jobs compared to SAG jobs pay at a lower rate. Of course, they have to pay you minimum wage, but outside of that, there's really no minimum for the day or how many hours maximum they have to pay you. For example, a non-union commercial gig that I've seen can be $300 for 8 hours. Then another company can say $300 for 10 hours. Then another company can say $300 for 12 hours. So because non-union gigs pay less, there are way more non-union jobs. Because we all know the big corporations are greedy and want to spend as little as possible on the production. Along with the lower rates, there is no health insurance or benefits that come with non-union. Of course, you could probably apply to health insurance yourself as a freelancer, maybe through Covered California, but non-union, all the various projects, they don't cover health insurance or benefits. That being said, non-union sets could be sometimes maybe good and sometimes maybe bad. If you've ever heard of a on-set horror story, it most likely happened on a non-union set because the employees or the workers had no one to report the toxic work environment to. There was no union. So in summary, non-union work pays less and there's no health benefits or a retirement fund. But on the other hand, since there is so much non-union work, you are more likely to book and be able to pay your bills. You are more likely to build your credits that you need to maybe get a better agent and get your reel footage and build your community. Now you may be wondering, well, how can I join SAG? Just keep in mind that non-union folks can apply to both non-union gigs and SAG gigs. There are two main ways that you can join SAG. Option number one is if you work as a SAG background actor on 3 separate occasions, 3 different days. It can be the same production or it can be a different production. These 3 days are known as getting your 3 SAG vouchers. Now, getting these 3 SAG vouchers for background acting is merely up to chance. It can take you months or even years. How it works is if you, as a non-union actor, book a background gig, and let's say, just for this example, there are 10 SAG background actors and there are 30 non-union background actors. If one of the 10 SAG actors don't show up to set, they cancel, they got sick, they have an emergency, then production is required by SAG to give that SAG voucher to a non-union actor because SAG requires a minimum amount of SAG actors on each set. So this is up to chance because you don't know, sometimes all the SAG actors come, or let's say only 1 out of 10 cancels and there's 30 non-union background actors. Then it's like, how do you get that 1 voucher out of the 30 actors? And you have to do this 3 separate times. So people have done it, but it does take some time. The other option, still under option number 1, is if you book 1 principal performer role in a SAG project. And this is how I became SAG eligible, is I booked a SAG commercial and I was the on-camera principal, OCP, so the principal of that commercial. That 1 principal role automatically makes you SAG eligible versus you having to get 3 SAG background vouchers. So yes, booking a commercial is also up to chance, but I feel that you have a higher chance of going this route since casting is calling you in for your look and you only have to do it once versus 3 times. So that's option number 1, 3 SAG background vouchers or 1 performer principal role on a SAG project. The second option to join SAG is if you have paid your dues for a year with any of the sister unions. ACTRA, AEA, AGMA, AGVA, and have booked at least one principal performer role in that union. SAG eligible. So to be SAG eligible is when you are a non-union actor and you've booked one SAG job or two SAG jobs. So SAG requires you to join SAG after you've booked 3 SAG jobs. So SAG eligible is 1 or 2 SAG bookings, and this is kind of the sweet spot where I recommend new people start, because you can do both non-union and union work without being penalized. So again, it's kind of the same boat as non-union stage, where you are booking your credits to add to your resume, getting your reel footage, adding folks to the community and network, because everyone needs that in this industry, and more opportunity to make money. So SAG eligible is when you're a non-union actor and you booked either 1 or 2 SAG jobs. 3 is the maximum. But if you book 3 SAG jobs, SAG will tell you that you are now a must join. Once you book 3 SAG jobs as a non-union actor, SAG will change your status from SAG eligible to SAG Must Join. You'll get a notice in the mail or email saying that you have 30 days notice to join SAG. If you don't join the union after the 30 days notice, and say you go to work your 4th SAG job or 5th and so on and so forth, the productions that you work on will be fined. So as you can imagine, this can burn a bridge with a certain production company or network, and could even go as far as being blacklisted, because it's Hollywood. People are petty. Is if a SAG project is casting both non-union and union actors. And let's say they're looking for their newest series regular and they happen to pick a non-union actor. The production company has to write a letter to SAG saying why this non-union actor has such special skills that they couldn't find an actor in the union to do the job. So that production company will Taft Hartley you into the union. So again, I would definitely join in the 30 days notice that SAG gives you to join. Now you may be wondering, why wouldn't people just join SAG right away? Well, as of August 2024 in Los Angeles, the biggest reason people wait to join is the initiation fee is $3,000, and it really just increases over time. And I get it, it's a lot of money, but you don't want to risk not being able to join SAG if they find out you've been doing so much SAG jobs during this must join period. And you also don't want to burn any bridges with any production companies having to pay a fine because you are a must join still working on SAG projects. What I recommend is, if you know when you come here that eventually one day you want to join SAG, even if that's years from now, just start saving. Yeah. Even if it's like $1 a day, like $30 a month, like a gym membership, just start saving. So when that time comes, you have it. Once you have paid the $3,000 initiation fee, you are officially SAG. You are a union actor. You are no longer viewed as a rookie or amateur. You are now a professional in eyes of casting and productions. Hooray! You can pay for the $3,000 initiation fee up front if maybe you saved from prior, like I suggested in the last section. If that's still too much for you, you can also become a member at the SAG-AFTRA credit union and take out a loan. So the duration of that loan and the interest rate of that loan is completely dependent on your credit history, but that's what I did, as it gave me more time to pay off the loan. Once you join SAG, there are dues outside of the $3,000 initiation fee. There are semi-annual dues with the base of $236.60. That's assuming that you are making $0, but you are still going to pay the semi-annual dues. And if you do make money from booking SAG gigs, you are required to give 1.575% of those earnings to SAG. So what are the benefits to joining SAG? You get health insurance and a retirement fund, but that's only if you meet the earning minimum requirements to even get those benefits. You get access to SAG-AFTRA screenings and events. You can join the SAG-AFTRA Foundation. You are protected from toxic work environments. You have guaranteed day rates for each type of SAG project. You have access to the voiceover booth, to the self-tape room. You can vote on SAG matters and for the SAG president. And now you have access to casting offices and productions that you may not have had access to before as a non-union actor. I'm repeating this again just so you know the reality. There is more non-union work than there are SAG jobs. And this is where financial core comes in. Financial core, or FICOR, is a Supreme Court decision that came from the lawsuit NLRB versus General Motors. This is when the auto industry workers disagreed about paying for their union's political affiliations. So FI is short for financial, and core is paying for the core benefits of the union that actually aid members. It does not cover the percentage of dues that goes to the union's political affiliations. On February 17th, 2001, President George W. Bush signed an executive order that unions are obliged to inform all prospective members of their financial core rights before they join the union. So before you join the union, before you give them the $3,000 initiation fee, they are required to tell you of all the options, all the pros of being SAG, and also that financial core is an option. And if you decide to go FICOR, they are not supposed to try to talk you out of it, even though they definitely will. FICOR performers have essentially resigned or rejected their SAG-AFTRA membership, and as such are not union members. You pay for the core benefits, but SAG views you as a non-member. You can do both non-union and union work without being penalized, but you cannot claim to be SAG-AFTRA on your online casting profiles or listed on your resume. You are a non-union performer with the right to work on a union set. If you do decide that after being SAG for a while isn't working out for you, you have to write a letter to SAG saying why you need to go FICOR. So on paper, the legal reason FICOR even exists is for members who don't want a percentage of their union dues going to the union's political affiliation, but the actual reason that actors do it is because there's simply not enough SAG jobs, if you're trying to make acting your full-time job, to stay afloat. So people become FICOR in order to do union and non-union work to make more money, have more chance of booking so they could survive. So now you're wondering, why would SAG try to talk me out of making more money and trying to survive by becoming FICOR? SAG claims that the more members that are in SAG, the better leverage SAG has to negotiate higher rates and benefits with the producers. But the more people who do FICOR and are willing to work for lower non-union rates, the less leverage SAG has. Which I totally understand where SAG is coming from, but at the same time, if you are trying to make acting your full-time job, it is also on SAG to ensure that there are more SAG jobs so that we could solely survive off of just SAG jobs. It's just not the reality. So that decision is up to you, whether you're gonna stay SAG and maybe have a day job or other forms of income and just do SAG work, or if you're like, I really want acting to be the full-time thing and I need both union and non-union work. Now let's talk about rejoining SAG. So maybe you've been FICOR for a few years and you're thinking about going back to being a full SAG member. SAG states that it can be difficult for a FICOR actor to rejoin the union. SAG considers the decision to go FICOR to be permanent and can require reinstatement fees, meetings with committees, and even written apologies just to get back into their good graces. The union tends to frown upon the move to become FICOR in the first place, and then frowns again for you trying to get back into the union. Also, most of the people getting the actor work, such as the casting directors or the directors or the producers, are in unions of their own, so they view actors leaving the union and coming back to the union as maybe not as reliable or sticking to the union's causes. So what should you do? What tier should you be in and for how long? What's best for you? Again, that varies, but I'm gonna try my very best to kind of cover all the bases with this little chart that I made. Okay, so the non-union stage or the SAG eligible stage. This is when you're just starting out. You're building your credits, you're building your connections, you're getting footage for your reel. You can work both union and non-union jobs without being penalized. I feel that SAG-E is a sweet spot and I stayed there as long as I could, sweetie. This is just a really good place to be when you're starting out. Keep in mind that I did not put SAG Must Join here because it's a 30-day period of you having to join the union, so it's not something you can really stay in for too long. SAG. You are now happy with your credits that you earned in your non-union and SAG-E days, right? You have your reel footage, you have your agents that you like thus far, or maybe you're gonna be able to pitch to agents and managers now that you're SAG and may be more appealing to them. You have other streams of income, so you don't have to rely solely on only booking SAG jobs. You are focused on your long-term goals of booking SAG nationals, network TV roles, and studio film roles. FICOR, you are trying to act full-time. Maybe you don't want to have a day job and just the little bit of SAG jobs that are available out there. So you want income from both non-union and union jobs to survive. You want to add more credits to your resume, build a bigger industry community, and add more clips to your reel. Rejoining. After being FICOR for a while and getting everything that you wanted to get out of it, maybe you are happy with your credits now and your reel and your agents and your income. You're ready to go back to SAG to receive your full benefits and to be seen by casting offices who may not have seen you while you were FICOR. I hope this video was helpful. Again, we went over non-union, SAG eligible, SAG must join, SAG, FICOR, and rejoining. And we talked about the Taft Hartley 30-day period of being a must join. This graph is a generalization. It really just depends on what you currently want from your career and what your long-term goals are from your career. Always talk to your agent or your manager about what's best for you, but at the end of the day, this is your career and it's your bills that need to be paid. Hope this is helpful.